We're going to welcome to the stage BitCake CEO Camilla Slotfeldt first, Mad Mushroom CEO Sibs, and CEO of OTK Tips. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, let's get this started, shall we? All right, so we're going to play some of the footage from Atomic Picnic and then just dive right into it. All right, so let's start off with what the game is all about and some of the offerings the game actually has. Mila, could you describe Atomic Picnic to the audience?
Sure. So Atomic Picnic is a co-op roguelike shooter with an anime-inspired art style.
I love anime. Now, I want to ask you that. Let's dive into that. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some of the footage soon. What anime did you all kind of look at in order to kind of glean some inspiration from in relation to the art style?
Sure. So we really want to convey the feeling of a shonen anime. We say it has a shonen anime attitude, and we have a band of characters that have very distinct personalities, and we want to have this idea of having an adventure together.
I like it.
So some anime that we looked a lot into is like classic shonen anime like One Piece or My Hero Academia, that kind of thing.
Okay, ooh, very nice. My Hero Academia is one of my favorites, by the way. I got to ask you, Sibs, what was it about Atomic Picnic that made you all choose this as the first game for you all to publish?
I mean, one, look at it.
Yes, yes.
It's beautiful.
Undeniable, of course, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, for Mad Mushroom, it's not just about being a great game to play, it's a great game to watch, right?
Yep.
We are a content creator-owned video game publisher, and we focus on amazing indie development talent. And when we first saw this game, Atomic Picnic, it just checked off a lot of our boxes to make all of us feel really excited about signing this as our first game.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love is, like you mentioned, just the fact that creators are involved in this. Tips, I want to talk to you about this. So I'm a huge fan of Asmon. Shout out to Asmon Gold.
Sorry.
Apology accepted. He sent a 5+ page document to you all as far as give you all some feedback on the game, and Adu, the creative director at BitCake Studio, actually read through the entire thing and addressed these issues. So I kind of want to talk about. I want to get to about what type of feedback you all got. But before that, I want to talk about just how involved are the creators in the overall development of the game.
For sure. So I think just to take a half step back, give some context.
Yeah.
I think generally speaking in the games industry, creators are becoming more and more movers and shakers when it comes to the popularity of certain titles. We saw this, with Among Us. We've seen it with Vampire Survivors, Dark and Darker. These are all games that were primarily discovered by content creators and distributed on their platforms before they came to notoriety. So as far as how involved creators are in our process, well, I mean, you can ask Mila, but we play all the different play tests, we play all the different private builds, we submit our feedback from a gameplay perspective, but also from a, hey, if you made this tweak, the game might be more palatable to watch on stream or in a YouTube video. So we give our insight not just on gameplay and mechanics, and we're involved in that process, but also from a kind of strategic standpoint of, hey, is this content that's fun to watch as well as fun to play?
Yeah, to add to that, the creators are literally in it with all of us. On the publishing side, on the development side, they are working to figure out what are the games we should be publishing, and then once we have those games, they are playtesting extensively throughout the life cycle that's leading up to launch and beyond.
Yeah, and honestly, what I love about it is the fact that they're streamers for the most part, and so they're streaming these games, and they have a lot of experience playing these games. So honestly, I think they're the best people to actually give the feedback on these games. So Mila, what type of feedback did you all get?
Yeah, so I think we got feedback from a lot of different areas, both in terms of how the game is played. For example, I think Asmon even mentioned the air control.
Yeah.
We talked about that in that video, and we made a lot of improvements on that. But the creators really have a very good perspective on what resonates with players and what their audience would like to watch. So I think us as game developers, we always have to be very careful about how to deal with feedback and try to filter it. But when it's coming for the creators, it's a very unique perspective. So it really adds to the feedback that we are already getting from players too. One cool example that I can add is based on our first playtest, we saw that players really they really had an expectation that our characters would have more unique abilities, that playing each character would feel unique and that you would really feel like you are that character. So initially we wanted to only have passive abilities, but we added active abilities afterwards, just because we heard them and we heard what the creators were saying also.
Now, I want to put this on you, Mila, as opposed to myself. I'm kind of curious. Like, we talked about like the inspiration from an anime standpoint. Were there any inspirations from maybe some other video games that people might know and be familiar with?
Yeah, definitely. So Atomic Picnic is very similar. It will resonate with fans of games like Risk of Rain 2. Mm-hmm. But we are taking a lot of inspiration from survivor-likes, like Vampire Survivors, in terms of the structure of the game, of how you are surrounded by enemies and the waves get more and more like overwhelming, and in the way that you can level up and choose one upgrade each time you level up. And then level after level, you build your character, create the build as best as you can to try to get to the end of the run.
Yeah, now tell us a little bit about the multiplayer aspect as well.
Sure. So Atomic Picnic can be played with up to 4 people at the same time in co-op, but it can also be played as a single-player game. We say it's better with friends. And one cool thing is that everyone levels up at the same time. So every time you reach the experience bar complete, then everyone will get the chance to pick a new upgrade. So you can work together with your friends, try to see what's the best build to create combined with what they are doing, and no one will ever be left behind.
Now, Tips, Sib, I want to talk to you all about like just how involved the streamers are, because again, I watched Asmund, and he mentioned that there's no pay to win involved in this game. Why are aspects like that important to, I would say, you all as well as the creators as well?
So I think generally speaking, gaming content creators tend to be people that are very, very passionate about gaming, so much so that they made it a career. And I think when you look at some of the trends that have just unfolded in the industry over the past couple of years, it's become almost a little bit alien for some of us boomers. When we grew up, you buy a game, you pay the box price, and you get it, bugs and all, and that's pretty much it. Over time, obviously, companies have had to optimize their monetization strategies and have decided to go in what we consider to be a direction that maybe we're not necessarily comfortable with. So it's really important that us as content creators that have preached against pay-to-win practices over the years remain consistent when it comes to publishing our games. And the truth is, I think for us, our perspective is gaming is something that puts everybody kind of on an even playing field, relatively speaking. And when you add a monetary element that impacts gameplay, all of a sudden it just doesn't feel as rewarding to beat a game when you can just kind of swipe and win.
Yeah. Now, also another thing, I'm going to keep referencing Asmund. I hope that's not weird. Is that weird for the audience? Clearly, I watch him. But he also mentioned something about cosmetics, which I thought was really unique, that the best cosmetics will be acquired through actual gameplay as opposed to, like paying for like whatever the cosmetics may be. So I would love to know, Mila, a little bit more about like the different cosmetics that you can get within the game and how those are acquired.
Mm-hmm. So Atomic Picnic is going to be an early access title,
yeah.
And we are still figuring out what we want to do, and we're actually listening to a lot of what the community is asking for the cosmetics, but we definitely want to be able to customize our characters and have skins in the future. And they probably will be both in-game in terms of the progression and DLC.
All right, now, this one's a question that I think is on a lot of people's minds. When can we actually expect like the full game to be released? I'm thinking, I want to know. I need to know. Can you tell us?
Oh, so first of
Tomorrow.
all,
Tomorrow?
No, just kidding.
Is that an IGN exclusive?
No. Yes, it is, actually.
Thanks for the tip.
You heard it here first,
Oh,
guys.
yep, you heard
Tomorrow.
it here first. That's right. This is being recorded, right?
But what is exciting is you can go and play Atomic Picnic today. It is
There you
available in playtest. It is releasing in September for early access, and then for when it's actually going to hit full release. That's based on the community and our content creators, right?
Yep.
The intent of early access is truly to be an early access game and to develop it with the community in mind, to look at the feedback as we're iterating and not just put out a game that is 90% complete, but pretend, oh yeah, no, it's not done yet. Let's work with the community to fix it. No, Mila and the BitCake team, they love working with the community. It's something that they have done and have fostered long before me and Tips were in the mix. Yeah. And it's something that they will continue to foster throughout the early access process. That could be 3 months, that could be a year, but that'll all be dependent on making the right game for the community.
Yeah, and what's great is you all are actively listening. So I'm kind of curious, what is that turnaround phase as far as like getting feedback? Going to like that 5+ page document that was delivered to you all. Like, what is that turnaround phase like?
Well, it depends a lot on the feedback, but I think I can give an example that went pretty fast. We got a lot of feedback from the creators in the end of April, and we really wanted to do a lot of rebalancing of the difficulty and some of the upgrades, and we did that, and in this playtest that is going live today, it's already in a lot of this rework that we've done. So less than a month, about a month.
All right, what is the most important thing that you want us all to experience in gameplay, in the playtest?
Okay, so...
this is for all of y'all,
yeah.
all right?
So we want this playtest, we want people to be able to create some different kinds of builds. We have a lot of different upgrades, some are new, and especially combining those with the characters. In this is playtest now, you can play with the active abilities of the characters that I talked about, so they combine with the upgrades that you get when you level up, and I think players will be excited to create some crazy combinations, and also to have a challenging time defeating the bosses.
I mean, and for us, it's, like I said in the last question, we want to hear the feedback. We want to hear what's going to make Atomic Picnic really resonate with the audience. What is going to make them excited to continually go into this experience and have a picnic, whether it's them, with their friends. We want to make this game for the community, and BitCake is probably one of the best studios at doing that.
We want you to die over and over and over again, especially on like a boss like Octavio here. But seriously, just getting in there and having a good time by yourself or with your friends too. I think Atomic Picnic is a great game to play solo, but when you get into co-op mode, when you play with a group of friends you love, the game just gets more chaotic, but at the same time, just a much better experience overall. So check it out, play with your friends, have a good time, and rage for the whole night.
Well, Mila, Sibs, Tips, thank you all so much for telling us a little bit more about Atomic Picnic.
Thank you.
Play test it now. Thank you all so much.